Well, hello, and this is me, Sandy Rich, or Queen Sandy Rich, on this special program that I do called Offbeat with Sandy. So, what is Offbeat with Sandy Rich? This is a program where I interview men. Hmm. Everybody talks about women empowerment, and they know me as this lady who talks women empowerment. But what I've realized is that I have an amazing group of men in my circle who have the most fascinating stories about their careers, about what they've done. And you know what? When we start out in careers, especially for the guys, it's okay, you must follow this path, you must do this. And I feel that sometimes there's so much pressure that people are quite unhappy in what they do, but they don't have too many choices. So, my guests are those people who have decided, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to do something different. And so, what if other people don't like it? I'm going to be a happy person. And my guest today is just that kind of a person. And when I met him a couple of years ago, he was very interesting, and he has this uncanny way of reading energies. And so I'd be just sitting and he'd tell me, today your energy is this, and another day it's like this. And I was always, oh God, how does he do it? But it's something, it's just a gift, it's a natural gift for him. So I decided I'm going to invite him onto my show, Offbeat with Sandy. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest, and he is going to tell us who he is. Welcome, my dear, and please introduce yourself to my guest this evening.
Thank you very much, Sandy, for your invitation. And thank you very much for your kind words. So my name is Cristiano Falconi. I'm originally from Switzerland, and I was a lawyer. And almost 18 years back, I gave up my law job and I became a full-time Feng Shui consultant. Meanwhile, since I was a teenager, I am doing tarot reading. So this is something very, let's say, weird, especially for my culture, because I grew up in Switzerland where people are very strict. But since I was 16 years old, I have this gift, and I try day after day, week after week to develop it. And now that I'm almost 50, it has become my life.
Wonderful, my dear. And I have had the opportunity to actually sit with you and get a reading done. But you know what I found very interesting is you have these very special cards. So, can you just take us back in time and tell us how you acquired these cards and how did this tarot reading actually come about?
Well, this is a very interesting question. So when I was 16 years old, I always had a lot of headaches. So my mom, she brought me to a healer. And of course, I had to go for like few sessions. And at a certain point, this healer brought these cards and he said, Cris, you should read this tarot. And I said, but how come on? I don't know how to read it. Go with the flow, because I got a message during one of our sessions, and it seems that your destiny is to read tarot. And at this time, of course, I was in the college, and I said, okay. However, I was quite open-minded and flexible, and I said, okay, let's try. Give me the cards, and I will try. And since then, I never left my tarot, even when I was in the university, even when I was working as a lawyer. I was constantly and every week, every month doing readings. And I could really see how people came back naturally. I never advertised my job. I never did any ad relating with my tarot, but it's simply by following this energy that I get my clients.
Okay, so you were following your energy, following your inner voice, and all of that. Something quite different to, let's say, going to university and studying. But when you
Yes.
had this part of your character, what did you actually end up studying at university, and why did you do that?
So already, as you can understand, I was a very weird teenager, of course, doing my tarot, but for some family reason, I had to reach the law school. Of course, I mean, at this time, I couldn't really understand myself so well as I do now. So I went to the law school. I was studying hard, but of course, I was feeling very, very frustrated. Why? Because I felt since day one that I would never be able to practice as a lawyer all my life. So during the university, I was having even deep moments or like breakdown or depression as they call it now. So I was feeling that something was wrong and I was not happy in learning and passing the law exam. However, everyone around me was telling me, you should be a lawyer, you will be a politician, you need to go through it. This is something very concrete, this is something very tangible. So, and your tarot, you can do it on a side, but this is just for fun, But it was wrong because since the university, since college, I was really feeling a connection with my tarots. And so during the university, I was up and down. Let's say some moments were okay, but some moments I was very down because of that I felt already that the energy of being a lawyer was not suiting my personality.
So, did you actually pass the law exam, and what did you do after that?
So when I finished the law school, of course, I felt probably a little bit lost because at this time I wanted to do something different. But everyone, again, the family was telling me, no, now you finish the law school, you will do the bar exam, you will become a barrister, this is your future, this is what you must do, this is what everyone is expecting from you. So again, I was a little bit weak probably, and I said, okay, let's go for this bar exam. Let's start working in the court. Let's become a barrister. And really, at this time, I was feeling a big, big gap between myself and my job. During this period, I really realized that I did big mistake ages before to start the law school, and now I was doing a bigger mistake to become a barrister. And to be very honest, I went through a very strong depression. I was totally lost. I was totally confused. Meanwhile, I was doing my tarot. I was growing my inner soul. I was slowly I was becoming more and more convinced that this energy or spiritual direction was the right one. But everyone around me was against that. So it was a tough time, actually.
So, although you were battling with yourself, the inner you was saying, "This is not what you should be doing." You were feeling unfulfilled, whatever. But on the professional side, on the work side, how were you doing? Were you, just being mediocre, not doing much, or how was that going for you?
No, I was really pushing myself. and I was working hard. I had the chance to work in very important law offices. I was really giving the heart, like working hard. I was trying to convince myself that this was the right things to do. So my colleague, they were even supportive with me, and everyone was expecting me to become the most strong and powerful and famous lawyer. So I was even trying to convince myself, oh my God, you will be a good lawyer. But day after day and month after month, I was realizing that actually I was losing energy instead of becoming powerful and motivated. My motivation was zero, less than zero. So I was even acting like, oh, I'm so happy to work here. I'm so happy to have a new client. I'm so happy to go to the court. But actually, I was literally fighting against me and feeling a big emptiness inside my soul. Now, with you, Sandy, I say it in a kind of relaxed and almost funny way, but actually, for me, it was a nightmare. I went literally through a nightmare.
I can understand that because you're battling with yourself, and on the outside you're showing something, but on the inside is something else. So, when did you start looking into Feng Shui? Was it at this time, or when did it actually start?
So, uh, so when I realized that I needed to find a plan B, I started searching here and there, like schools or courses, but still I was a bit confused. So one day I was sharing the office with a lawyer from London, and out of the blue, I was surfing in internet and I found this course, Feng Shui course. And I asked him, sorry, but what is Feng Shui? And he started looking at me and he said, Cris, I think that is something that suits you. I said, okay, let's register. It's a 2 day course. Let's go and try it. Since the first hour, I realized that Feng Shui is a science that put together all my previous beliefs. And since the first hour, I remember I said to myself, Cris, in one way or in another, you will become a professional Feng Shui consultant. You will leave the legal work and you will move on with this career. And for me, it was like a blessing because after almost 10 years of confusion, 10 years of depression also, 10 years of frustrations, I could finally see the light. I cannot say that I went through the solution, but at least I said, okay, now I can see how my future looks like. It looks like Feng Shui.
Wonderful. You know something, Chris, very few people can actually make the switch because you had a very high paying job. You were earning a lot of money. And then you were now going to go into something where you didn't know whether you were actually going to earn any money. So, was there a problem in that? Because, on the one side, high profile, powerful, lots of money. On the other side, pretty unknown whether you would even get clients or be able to build up. So how did you handle that, and what did your family have to say about it?
Well, this is also a very, very interesting story. So, of course, I realized that I wanted to go deep and study seriously Feng Shui. My family, to be very honest, at the beginning was lost or confused. They said, okay, but why you are doing this 2 years course on this Chinese Feng Shui, it's useless. But, they didn't realize what was going on. Then now I will tell you the truth and why I finally left the law office. When I finished my 2 years of Feng Shui studies, during the weekends, of course, one of my friends, he was working in the Swiss TV, and he said, do you mind to come over and have a chat in the morning, like 7:30 in the morning, and about Feng Shui? I said, okay, perfect. 7:38, I will come to the TV, we will have the chat, and after that, I will go at 9 to my law office. So basically, I had a very senior position in the law office already, and some of my colleagues were a little bit jealous, I believe. So they went to my boss and they said, our Cris is going to TV speaking about Feng Shui, and it's something unbelievable. So he called me in the office and he said, listen, stop talking about this Feng Shui. It's an Asian religion, he said. So please stop it. Otherwise, you cannot work with us anymore. And you know what I did at this point? I stand up and I said, if this is the case, I think I will stop working in your office. It was a bomb in the office and in my family. Of course, I faced a big stress. For 2-3 months, I went through a deep stress because my family was totally shocked. My colleagues also, when they were trying to please come back, don't do that. He said it out of the blue. I said, no, I don't want this kind of friction in my life. Actually, if I'm approaching Feng Shui, it's because I want a smooth path. I don't mind. I will leave the office and I will start something new. So it has been very difficult. I still remember it was in the month of February. So it was like a bomb.
I'm quite sure because, you were not expecting it, of course, and I don't think anybody else was expecting it, and I'm sure you surprised yourself. But the universe was working in the background, and you needed that push, you needed that jolt in order to make that decision. Because till then, I think you were still, I'll do this and I'll sort of do the feng shui on the side to balance it out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I can imagine. So let's now moving ahead. So you've given up this lucrative job and you have absolutely no idea how you're going to use your feng shui not only for yourself, but to actually generate income by bringing about the flow of energy in other people's lives. So, how did you get into that?
Well, it has been also quite interesting because I was, after these studies, of course, I was speaking and spreading between my friends and people around me that I was applying Feng Shui, and slowly, people started asking me Feng Shui tips. What do you think about my home? What do you think about my office? And out of the blue, one of my clients from the law office, he told me, oh, listen, we are opening a restaurant in Dubai. Do you mind to come and do the Feng Shui for us? So I came for 1 week in Dubai, and it was my first corporate job or important Feng Shui job. And then I realized that, yes, I need to put all my love, all my passion. I need to be very grounded, and more grounded I am, and more I more happy I am, people, they will realize that this Feng Shui, it's something positive. So basically, it has been a word to mouth. I start building a kind of network of clients. Of course, at the beginning, it was a little bit slow and people were a little bit confused. And then, okay, let's do a consultation. Let's follow your advice. And then they could see a result. So please come to do my office. Please come to do my home. Please come to do my friend's house. So it's when you work with energy, you need to be very grounded and you need to truly believe in what you are doing and put a little bit your destiny in the universe's hands. If you want to approach an holistic subject in a corporate mind, I think it's where people start to clash.
Very,
So
very true. Very true.
this is a bit the secret.
I was just about to ask you that question because, nowadays when you have this mentoring programs and, there's the coach and the executive coach, and all these people are sort of driving your energies and your attentions towards the bottom line and how do you get to the next place and how do you make the next big, decision that's going to take your company and all of that. It's all number driven. It's all focus on this, focus on that. And very seldom do people actually look at the energy part, which is what you're talking about. So can you just share a little bit more about how you think this really works for you, and also whether you've been sharing it with your friends?
Sure. First of all, I think there is few little secrets to work in the holistic environment. And one is being extremely humble. So what does it mean? It means that when you work as a Feng Shui consultant or in general, an holistic consultant, we are tools in the hands of the universe. So the first secret is to be very humble and always try to speak in a very simple and clear way, then people can understand you, and make clear to people that you don't sell miracles. I don't do miracles. So I will help you to unblock the energy of your office, of your house, of your apartment, but I don't deliver you the happiness. You are the master and you will bake your happiness with the ingredients that I will give you. So this is the first point. Second point is to really believe in what you are doing. Trusting yourself, first of all, is important, but also trusting the philosophy, the healing, the therapy that you are applying to people. So if you do it fully focused on the therapy and with plenty of love and joy and with the mood of creating happiness and balance and harmony to people, automatically things start following, and they become positive. And people, clients especially, they feel that you are there with your full heart and soul, not only to get the check or the bank transfer at the end. So at our days in the holistic environment, there are plenty of people that they think that becoming an holistic practitioner is like a simple shift from a bank to a holistic center, but it's not like this. You need to visualize that the holistic environment is it's an environment where there are different vibration, different value, different energy, different way to approach clients, different way to talk and to express yourself. So only if you realize that, and you realize that you are at the point of a big universe, then you can grow in the energy world or the holistic environment. If you approach it with a technical mind, there is a very funny story, if I can tell you.
Yeah, of course.
So um, maybe a few years ago, one lady, she called me and she said, "You are Cris, the Feng Shui consultant?" "Yes." "So please, can we have a meeting?" So, okay, we met in a mall, in a coffee, very lovely lady. And she said, "Yeah, so I want to become a Feng Shui consultant." I said, "Yes." So we spoke a little bit about the Feng Shui, and she told me, "But how much I will earn in the first year? And how much I will learn in the second year? Because, I'm working with Emirates. So if I shift and I become a Feng Shui consultant, I want for sure double my income." I was like shocked. You don't become a Feng Shui consultant or an holistic consultant because you want the double of the salary. You start an holistic path because you feel that the energy will fulfill your soul first, that the therapy is vibrating with your energy second, and of course, third, you can make a life and you can support yourself with it. But if you want to become an holistic practitioner only because you want to have a double salary compared to the corporate environment, I think it's better that you stay in the corporate environment and you ask for a rise of salary.
quite, quite true. I think what people are doing these days, and it's quite common. They feel that okay, they're all these lost souls. So let me just jump into doing some courses, and then I'll guide them and I'll show them the way, and I'll just charge a lot of money. So a lot of people don't look at it from the way it's supposed to be looked at. But tell me, Chris. Obviously, you studied all of this, but do you actually go for more courses to get more, not qualified, but to gain more knowledge? How does that work?
Absolutely. So I did the 2 years of the basic studies, so-called, and I became a certified Feng Shui consultant. Now, every year, I meet my master for around 1 week somewhere in Europe. And every year, the master is sharing with me and with my colleagues some new knowledge. And every year, we choose a subject and we go deep in this subject because Feng Shui is a big family, plenty of different chapters, let's say. So 1 year we discuss and we study more the personal horoscope. Some year we study how to implement Feng Shui for commercial center and retails. So constantly, every year, I have a week at least of seminar. Then every month, I get a newsletter from the foundation, Feng Shui Foundation I belongs. And every week, I meet with one of my colleagues and we discuss some topics, we share some experience, and we keep learning. So basically, I think for all holistic disciplines, you cannot say, now I know how to apply Feng Shui, now I know how to do healing. No, it's not like, it's a never ending study because you grow with the age and the experience, and this is a never ending subject. So for sure, there is always a lot of things to study and go deep.
I do agree with you, Chris, that obviously for you to, not so much for your clients, but for yourself, you feel that if you want to grow, if you want to become better, if you want to become a more enrich your life, obviously you're going to study more, research more,
Exactly.
learn more. And many of us forget that. But so I'm not going to ask you another question, Cris. So on the one side, you not only graduated in law, you did the bar, you also worked, and you worked in a place that many people would love to go and work in Zurich, in Switzerland. Okay, and now you are doing all of this. So how much of your education, because a lot of people must be saying you've thrown away your career, you wasted everything for what, those kind of things. But truly, I don't think any knowledge that you have gained can ever be lost. So how do you, or do you use your law background in your feng shui business?
Absolutely a big yes. So I'm very grateful now that I'm almost 50 that I went to the law school and I did law studies. Why? Because when you study, you train your mind to think in a certain way. So now, sometimes I deal with clients that are a little bit, let's say, complicated, or they are a little bit confused about what Feng Shui is. So, thanks to my legal background, I can organize a discussion, I can write a report, I can manage also the personality of a client in a very smart way. And I really believe that my law background is an extra value. And also, when I write my notes during my Feng Shui seminars, or when I write a report for one client, or I prepare an article for the newsletter, I can really feel that the structures that I gain during my law studies
Chris, I can't hear you. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Chris. I think Chris is having a bit of an issue with his. He's
sorry, because I
all
got
right.
a call.
All right, sure, not a
So,
problem.
no, I was
Mm,
saying
mm.
that I really thanks my law studies and the law school because they gave me the structure. So
Mm.
now, when I talk to a client, write an article, when I prepare a report, I can refer to this structural system that I gained during the law studies, and I truly believe that law studies are a blessing. So I know I may sound a little bit weird because for so many years I was sad and depressed, but now I realize that is a baggage, is a value that will stay with me till the last day of my life, and maybe I will bring some vibration in a next to my next life. So definitely, Sandy, thank you for this question because it's really something that plays an important role. And even now, when I go back to Switzerland, sometimes I go and I take a book from my law studies and said, "Oh, that's interesting. Oh, let me see. I remember this very well." So it's now I feel it as a blessing. If before I was used to see it as a curse, today I see it as a blessing.
So that's wonderful, and I think it's only because of the way Feng Shui is, and the holistic way of looking at things, you can actually turn a lot of the negatives in your life into something positive.
Yes.
And then you appreciate that, and you value it, and you use it. So in closing, Chris, what I'd like you to do is, for many men out there who are, on that seesaw, should I, shouldn't I, what will the people say, what will my family say, what about my responsibilities, all of that, what kind of pointers of advice would you give them when they're sort of sitting on that fence, not being able to make that decision?
Well, first of all, I will suggest them to visualize themselves in the new position. And in 10 years, in the new position, I don't know, maybe they want to become healers. So how they can visualize themselves as a healer, or and they should visualize themselves doing the same job they are doing now in 10 years. So if they feel super excited in visualizing themselves in the new job, then they really need to follow their passion. You know, sometimes following a passion can raise the amount of enthusiasm inside our body that it's like a vitamin. It gives you the strength and the energy to move on. So don't be shy to say no to a social position or to a standard position that maybe your family or your colleague or someone put on you. So be honest with yourself and say, I really want to do this life for the rest of my time, or I really want to vibrate with my soul and my dreams. And I'm sure that your heart will give you the right question. Then you need to be brave enough to say, I will turn the page. This is a big topic, but of course, in this historical moment, we are going through a lot of problems, as you know, but definitely it's very important to be honest with yourself, with the people that you love, and with the society. So if you don't want to be a clerk anymore, if you don't want to be a lawyer anymore, if you don't want to be working as an accountant anymore, you have to stand up and say, thank you, God, for what I got till now, but now I will move on into something that vibrates with my energy, with my soul. So I know very well that men, we tend to feel the responsibility of a family. So this is something very strong in our society, in
Yes.
all type of society. Of course, but we can also say that now women and wives are much more open to accept an husband that is he left the law office and start I don't know yoga school. So it's true that men, we have this social pressure, but in the other hand, woman and wife are now more flexible. They are less stuck with a frozen vision of the family.
Quite true. Thank you so much, Chris, for bringing that out right now, because I think there is quite a bit of a battle going on in many people's minds and many people's lives. And the whole purpose of Offbeat with Sandy and talking to people like yourself is to bring into people's focus and their attention that, you can make a break. You can do something different and you can be very successful, because I think at the end of it all, or at the bottom of it all, is when you're happy, everything around
Exactly.
you happens. So thank you so much, Chris, and God bless till we meet next time. Take care.
Thank you so much, Sandy. I send a big hug to everyone and a lot of good energy.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, darling. Well, there you have it, from a corporate lawyer to a Feng Shui consultant. And the journey has been absolutely marvelous. What's really nice is that Chris is one of those people who is very honest. He's very open and he doesn't hide anything. So it was a big job, it was well paying, but that was not making him happy. And that's what Offbeat is all about. If you have a story that you'd like to share, do let us know. So, what did we learn today from Chris? Number one is when he talked about his feng shui, and people have this thing about, oh, it's this esoteric thing, and if I do this and if I put this here, everything is going to change. It's not true. And he said, don't sell miracles. You got to be practical. But he also mentioned something which a lot of us don't do, and he said, be humble. That I think is a very, very powerful statement. Be humble. But you know what? He went through that thing, and I think a lot of you were going through it himself. Too many expectations, so much pressure to perform, to deliver. And that's what sometimes makes us so unhappy. So go with the flow and be open minded, and you never know where it's going to get you. Look at him. He's enjoying life, he's making money, and most important, whatever he's learned, knowledge never goes to waste. You can always use whatever you have. And the other thing is experience. So, whatever you've experienced, you don't have to give it up, you don't have to throw it away. You can use it to your advantage. So, till next time, when I bring you another interesting person on Offbeat with Stanley, bye bye for now, and God bless to all of you. Take care.